Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again giving you the follow-up video on the Armageddon brand Elementalist. As I mentioned in the last one, it is a non-crit build. It's fairly cheap to get started and going. It just is a bit clunky in the early game until you have the right brand passives and the right sort of little setup going. But at this point, it probably took about 1 or 2x to put together. It's pretty damn cheap. It's on a 5-link using a carcass jack, and it has cleared the game comfortably. I've done 3, 4 Uber Elder runs, something like that. Pretty much all of them deathless. I died once to a slight mishap, but I will show you the clip to the first Uber Elder kill on this one just a little bit later. Overall, Brands turned out to be a very pleasant playstyle, much to my surprise, because when we first saw them previewed, I really didn't think they were going to be anything special, and neither did quite a lot of people. We were banking our hopes on the Steel skills or the Winter's Orb instead, and Winter's Orb, to its credit, has turned out pretty good as well. However, Brands have just turned out much better than I ever expected. The playstyle here is just a little bit clumsy to begin with, but once you actually get used to it and have things on farm, I think it becomes one of the smoothest and best bang for your buck builds out there, because I've hardly invested anything into this and it is still just going to be steamrolling. The damage that you can get from these things while being a mobile sort of playstyle and character is actually pretty absurd. And that's where the Uber Elder kills really come into their own, because the playstyle was just insane for this. It's basically like a hybrid totem trapper that's self-cast but constantly doing really good damage. I did go over this on my stream about how self-cast is just so much worse than something like this right now, which is self-cast, but it's getting a lot of value for every little cast you do. All you do is put down a couple little brands, and then you can keep running around slamming your instant cast brand recall that'll then damage your enemies or damage the boss over and over again, and it's instant. So all you're doing is running around playing defensively while getting lots and lots of value in. For every single cast you do, slams the enemy like 20 times. Compare it to some traditional self-cast, like let's say a Blade Fall or a Fireball, which obviously lol. But yeah, if you do those, you stand still, you hard cast one time, you get 1 time's worth of damage out there. With brands, you cast once, maybe twice, and then keep going with your brand recall. And every single time you do, the brands just keep smashing damage over and over into the enemy. So it's a really, like, pretty much busted and somewhat overpowered playstyle, I think, compared to many other self-cast things, and that's why self-cast is kind of in a bit of a shit spot, because things like this exist, as well as things like Poet's Pen and Cast on Crits and various other bullshit. But overall, all I'm trying to say is this was a really good playstyle and a really good skill in the end, and Stormbrand I think is pretty comparable as well. I did try that out just a little bit, and it does just as much damage. It clears a bit faster, there's no real delay, and you can see in these next few clips how the single target pans out, how the damage goes, and how the playstyle is. Basically just try and keep at least 2 brands on your enemy at all times, trying to put out your brand recall as often as possible, but sometimes you want to be a little defensive, so you just run away while your shit still does lots of damage. Bear in mind, all of this damage is on a 5-link still, and it is nothing too expensive other than that, like for the setup of the damage, because it is a non-crit build. There's only so much you can do for damage there. If you really want to max it out, you would go a 6-link, and you would probably go a full-blown crit setup, which will end up costing just a bit more because the passive tree is so much heavier. So there's not really any other changes in this build that I need to mention from the previous video. I just leveled up a few more times and then did a bunch more maps. The biggest change I made is that I started running Warlord's Mark Blasphemy, just so I could have a reliable form of life and mana leech, because currently it was just on the boots. So I would recommend running Warlord's Mark Blasphemy as well if you're going to do this build, but it does help a lot to have some sort of slow. So if you don't have an aspect of the spider like I do, then you could potentially run Blasphemy Temp Chains instead, just so that you get that sort of extra slow on the enemies, because the delay that you have in your Armageddon brand before them hitting really does sometimes get you in trouble if you don't have a nice defensive measure like a big fat slow against the enemies. As well as that, the build took on Hall of Grandmasters pretty damn easily. You can play this one as defensively or offensively as you like in the Hall of Grandmasters, and ultimately it actually clears this place pretty well. And if you come across the block dudes, you just grab a Balefire, put on Scorching Ray, and you should be able to kill them instantly too. So that's a wrap up for the character, guys. Here is an Uber Elder kill, and as well as that, there's just a bit of a clip versus Uber Elder Ghosted. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time. Not even a level 21, not even a 6-link, not even maximum. Just minimum. Still using this flask too, which is weird. Look at your wand. Oh my god, that one's incredible. Alright. Not even cheese booting. Deep's holding up alright. Playstyle pretty good. Hardly need to move. Can't see shit. True. Visibility at an all-time low. Damage is real good, yeah. Pushing these phases pretty comfortably. Wait, Xanistar has a quest. I'm basically not even pressing flasks right now. Like ever. Just saving them. Ooh, I may have fucked that up. No, we're good. That was a little bit iffy. Like if brands weren't instant cast, this would be so much harder. Not brands themselves, I mean the recall. If the recall was an instant cast. The fact that you just drive by whenever you want is pretty insane. Yeah, that was like a fucking easier trapper playstyle because I basically never had to stop and like throw a trap. Instead I'm just occasionally going bop bop and then just drive by. And drive by. And drive by. And drive by. And a jewel. And a jewel foil. And nothing else. I don't know. I don't think Elder Jeweled foil is really worth anything at this point. It's just rare, I suppose. This, however, gonna be some big shit, isn't it? It's terrible. It's actually pretty fucking terrible. Cooldown recovery speed. I mean, I don't think that's used by anyone. Fizz damage from lightning from Purity of Lightning. That's probably not used by anyone. Frostbite, Purity of Ice. That's definitely not used by anyone. But, oh my god, that lag is just palpable. Oh no, my golem. Can I remove him?
So only Elder has the ghosting? Not Shaper? He's pretty fucking fast with his attacks. Holy shit! That area is huge. Which is technically a good thing, right? Oh god, lag. Oh my god. I can't rely on Flame Dash, man. It like springs me back. I'm so Flame Dash reliant. Wait, what did I turn off? The reservation already. Is that my aspect to the Spooter? It's my wallet's mark, isn't it? He's so fast! And I'm so laggy! What the fuck is happening? How did my reserv... I don't understand what happened. Didn't I put my buffs up as I went in? How did I turn them off? Did I just fuck it up because of the lag? I must have just fucked it up and not noticed. Look, if I by some miracle like get to the end here, you have to also, you know, zone in. So be ready to do that if that ends up happening. Oh no. No, slaps. I can't avoid these with this lag. I had no choice there. Like I had no choice but to go that way, and it's just fucked. The lag is honestly just so unfun. Like it's okay if you're running around in circles, but anytime you try and flame dash, it like whips you back. Couple portals left there. So yeah, be ready to zone in if I get that far. Oh shit, we did. Yep, zone in, zone in, zone in. Or did I already win? I think I already won. Oh, you got in time! Pog? I think. Ooh, a Void Forge. Taking the drill. Fuck you.